What is up, guys? This is Nightmare, and today I got a new build video for you all. This is a new Stamina Nightblade build I have been theory crafting for a very long time. This is a dual wield and 2H build. So the build is made for people who like the style of dual wield in over 2H and bow maybe. It's definitely a different play style. Is it any stronger? I don't think so. From playing it, it is very strong though, and if you are to play a dual wield Stamina Nightblade, this is going to be the way to do it. Probably the best build for Stamina Nightblade dual wield. Um, okay, so the name of this build is called, what did I call it? Leviathan, and my past build with the 2H and bow is called Nocturnal. I will still be updating the Nocturnal build if you prefer the 2H and bow. But this is something I was theory crafting, and this is pretty much making the most use of dual wields, the best way you can. Alright, so let's go over the gear setup first, and this is like the most important part of the dual wield build. You're trying to maximize the way you optimize your set layouts. Okay, so it's very complicated, so let me start down at the bottom actually. So first up we got our jewelry. 3 agility robust jewelry, all with weapon damage enchants. 2 pieces going to give us 1400 max stam, and 3 pieces going to give us 186 weapon damage. Very nice set. A lot of people already have this set and it's been sitting in their bank just collecting dust. So this is going to be a very good build to bring your agility set out to use. Okay, so for the first 5-piece bonus we're doing is going to be Coward's Gear. So the reason why I went with Coward's Gear is for a few reasons. First off, when I play Stamina Nightblade, I like to run a 5-piece set that gives me 2 stamina recovery bonuses. I usually find that that gives me enough stamina sustain in a fight. So first off, right off the bat, our Coward's Gear is going to give us that 3 and 4 piece stam recovery. And then the 2 piece is actually pretty nice, max health. So we're actually going to be pretty darn tanky with this build. I'm sitting around 23 to 24,000 health, which is very impressive. Okay, so next up, let's get into the second reason why I chose Coward's Gear. Coward's Gear's 5 piece gives you major expedition while sprinting, along with major protection. So when I was theory crafting and thinking, I was like, you know what? I won't be using the bow, so I'm not going to have major expedition on dodge rolls. So let me use Coward's Gear, and while I can sprint, I can get my major expedition, as you can see there. That little orange glow behind me is major expedition. I got that on my 2H bar only. I don't have it on my front bar. So that's why you can see there it doesn't have 5 Ps on the 2H. I got my 5 Ps bonus active. So that pretty much covers the Coward's Gear and the main reason why I'm doing it. And it's really good for like line of sighting. Like usually for a medium armor build, you're going to be doing lots of dodge rolls and trying to get around cover, and you'll get your sprint speed up and being able to be very agile. With this build, you're going to try to take a little bit more of a just a different direction on things. So getting around corners quickly, you can do a little bit of sprinting. Sprinting is also going to be a very good way to mitigate damage since you're getting that major expedition. Now you're not going to be doing this in long bursts, just holding down the sprint button and running. As you can see, your stamina will drain pretty quickly. The idea with this is you're going to be using your sprint kind of like you would be using a dodge roll. So you want to use it in short bursts just like that. So instead of just walking up to the line of sight here, the edge of the line of sight, I can quickly sprint and get there a little bit quicker, along with taking less damage because I have major whatchamajigger. Major protection. That's what it's called. Okay, so so far I got 3 impin pieces on my Coward's Gear. All these are going to be stamina enchants, by the way. I believe the setup I'm running is 5 impin and 2 well-fitted. Well-fitted on the waist, and I have a well-fitted chest, Coward's Gear. And then, of course, you will have a Coward's Gear Greatsword. Right now I have Sharpened. Defending or Powered would be preferred. But I got this sexy Sharpened Coward's Gear sword. I love the style of the Coward's Gear, by the way. It just looks too freaking awesome. Okay, so for our second set, we're running our second 5-piece set. Remember, we're able to fit 2 5-piece sets into this and a 3-piece set because we are running dual wield. So we got 2 dual wield daggers. Both of these are precise at the moment just because I already had these golds. If you have infused would be very, very nice, and then you could run like a disease and a fire enchant and you'll get tons of burst damage because of the procs from both of those enchants. So that would be a very good alternative choice. However, right now I'm running precise with daggers just to give me a little bit more crit chance. I think I can get up to about 52 or 53% crit. So the extra crit chance is very nice with this build since we are hitting very hard without crits and with crits. So why did I go with Spriggans? Spriggans is going to give me 2 and 3 piece max stam, which is going to be available to me on both bars. So as you can see right now, I am on my 2H bar. So the 4 and 5 piece are going to be deactivated. And the 4 and 5 piece weapon damage and physical penetration will not turn on until I go to the dual wield bar. As you can see here. Now, why is this okay? First off, my 2H bar is nothing but buffs, as you can see, with Rally, which is going to be my heal. So having all that stamina on this bar is going to still be nice. So the only thing I'm losing is that little bit of extra weapon damage and a little bit of physical penetration. But physical penetration is only going to affect my damage output. It's not going to affect heals. That is very important since all of our damage is on our dual wield bar. We're getting the extra 3,400 physical penetration from the Spriggans solely on our dual wield bar. And with champion points, I'm able to get up to just over 5,000 physical penetration on top of all the max stam I have and on top of all of the crits and on top of all the weapon damage. So very nice setup. I don't know any other setup that would be beneficial with the dual wield and 2H. Maybe instead of running Spriggans, you can run maybe like Hunting's Rage. But continuing on, I have my Impin Spriggans helmet, and I have a Impin Spriggans shoulder with a well-fitted waist. Again, 2 well-fitted with 5 Impin. That's pretty much going to cover the gear. I don't use poisons. I don't really worry about the enchant on the Coward's Gear Greatsword because I'm not swinging the sword at all. I'm not proccing enchants or poisons with this. Whenever I go to this Greatsword, I'm either using Rally or any other buffs or Cloak, or I'm sprinting to get around quicker. This is not a bar I swing the sword on or attack on ever, or very rarely. Sometimes I'll do a heavy attack just to get like 2H passives, but that's just about it. Let me cover food I'm using. So right now, I use Throwaway Trash Alliance green pots. These are very good just to get extra stam, but these are like best in slot for the build. Since we're in medium armor, the resistance to disabling effects, like knockdowns, and I believe it's also like roots, this is going to be very good. And this is also going to be giving us major savagery. So 10% extra crit chance with this, along with restoring stamina. So in my opinion, these are best in slot potions. You can also run tripods if you choose to. And food, I am using Dubious Chimera Throne, of course. I tried this food, which is what I used in the past. Stamina bar was just a little bit too small, considering I was trying to spec a little bit more into max stam for bigger heals and stuff like that. So this was putting a big hurt on my max stam, and with this max health, max stam food, I wasn't getting enough stam recovery to sustain in fights. I was running out very quickly. So this is, of course, going to be your best in slot. Pretty much all my stamina builds are slowly moving towards using Duber's Command Throne. It's just too good not to use. Alright, so that is going to cover the gear choices. I went with this build, fully optimized, dual wield and 2H gear set. So let us move on to the abilities I'm using, which is going to be also very important for a dual wield build. Okay, so with the dual wield builds, we kind of switch abilities up a little bit. Usually the on our standard Nightblade build using 2H and bow, our 2H is going to be our main damaging bar and our bow is going to be our utility bar. This is flip-flops now. So dual wield is now our main damage bar and the 2H is a utility bar now. Really, you're only using the 2H for rally. That's just about it. So pretty much everything's the same. Your first three abilities are going to be your generic Stamina Nightblade abilities. You got your Ambush for your gap close and your Empower. Nice blinking teleporting ability, closing the gap. Must have, especially for ganking. Very good ability. And this is just to help you, just to prevent you from getting kited by like Mage Sorks or Magic and Nightblades or anything else that is has really good utility for escaping. Next up we got Surprise Attack. This is going to be your main spammable ability. Now, this is just like a jack of all trades ability for your Stamina Nightblade. If you're not using this, you're doing Stamina Nightblade wrong. Pretty much, you're getting really good burst, physical damage as you can see there. It's instant cast, unlike Wrecking Blow. So this is slightly less damage than Wrecking Blow, but it's instant cast, very fast upfront burst damage. Very good. It is also going to be applying Major Fracture, which reduces their physical resistance by over 5k for 17 seconds. Very good. Just reducing their armor even more is going to put more shred on them, allowing you to pretty much do more damage. With light armor targets, you can shred their armor to 0 with this build because we're running Spriggans. Along with champion points, we're getting 5k there, and then along with Major Fracture, we're getting another 5k on top of that. I believe my medium armor build just has 11,000. So in a light armor build, that has roughly about 8 to 9,000, roughly up the top of my head. So yeah, you're reducing their armor to 0 pretty much. And then this is a shadow ability, so we're getting max health from this, 3% from this ability. And then we are also, what is it? Let's see. Here we go. Major Resolve and a Major Ward, which increases your tankiness by over 5k for 6 seconds. So since we're spamming this ability, they're pretty much getting a 90 to 100% uptime on your resistance buff. Very nice. Mass Hysteria, the best CC ability in the game. CC abilities are usually mandatory in PvP just so you can hit them with a stun. They're not going to be able to ward or heal through your damage. That's your time to unleash your combo on them. And this is a Fierce, so it goes through blocks. It can hit up to 3 enemies, and it also applies Binary Maim. Perfect. And then we got our Execute. So this is where things get a little bit tricky with the dual wield. Now that we have dual wield and not 2H, we can't use Executioner or Reverse Slice. Now we have to, Reverse Slice. So now we have to use different means of executing or just raw damage. So option 1 is using Killer's Blades. It still keep your execute. This is below 25% health, so you have to make sure they're below 25% health before using this. But this is still a very good execute for a Stamina Nightblade. You're still going to get some healing. You're going to get magic return from assassination passives. And this hits really hard when they drop below 25. If they hit 25% and you hit them with this, they're pretty much dead. There's no surviving it. So, that's the first change with dual wield. Option 2, if you don't want to use an execute and you just want to go with raw damage, you can use Evil Hunter, Camouflage Hunter from Fighter's Guild. This is going to increase your weapon damage by 3%, just to allow pretty much more damage on ambush, surprise attack, and end cap. But having that execute is very nice, and that's what I prefer, and that's what I recommend. Next up, we got Vigor. So since again we don't have a 2H on our man damaging bar, we don't have rally on this bar. And I like to play with a heal on my front bar. Just allows me to stay more aggressive, not have to bar swap to get a heal. I can get an instant heal with this ability. Now this is a heal over time, it's not a burst heal, but it's good enough. It's going to be better than nothing. So we're placing Rally with Vigor on the front bar. And then of course, Stamina Nightblade Ultimate, super OP, is in cap. This is just pretty much how you're going to get all your kills. It's also applying Major Defile, so we can buff that up with champion points. I have mine currently reducing healing and health recovery by 44%. Very good. And I love that they changed this to also debuffing health recovery, because against like health recovery stacking DKs or tanks, this comes in handy for killing them quicker. Alright, so moving over to the 2H bar. This is our utility bar. Shuffle is going to be the same. Your dodge chance, 15%, must have for any medium armor build, and even heavy armor builds will use this. This is just a very expensive ability, so you want to try to cast this after getting CC'd. Relentless Focus is going to give us a 10% stam recovery buff, very good for helping us sustain. And then we're also getting an 8% increased damage done buff, very nice. The Spectral Bow I don't use that often, but every once in a while it'll be up when I'm on this bar, so I'll just shoot it. So having this doesn't really require us to spec into that much raw damage, just because we're getting this minor berserk buff, which only 2 classes in the game get consistent use of it, which is your Warden and your Nightblade. Next up, we got Cloak. I prefer playing with Cloak. I had to move it around a little bit, so it's a little clunky for me right now. But Cloak is really good for opening in ganks or helping you get away or just confuse your enemy and kind of juke them around a little bit. And then Rally, I've been talking about it the whole time. It gives you your 20% weapon damage buff, and that's why your 2H is mandatory, for that 20% weapon damage buff. And you can also get a very nice burst heal. Alright, so the ability we changed, instead of Poison Injection, now we are running Leeching Strikes. So Leeching Strikes is very nice, because it's a stamina morph that is going to give us very good stamina sustain, along with giving us a little bit of healing. So you can see there, every light attack will give us 106 stamina, lasts for 20 seconds, and then at the end of its duration, it's going to give us a nice juicy buff of 4,000 stamina. Very good. Ultimate on this bar, I'm just using Flawless Dawnbreaker just for extra weapon damage. Not really a needed ability, since we're not doing damage on this bar, but pretty much just affecting the Relentless Focus and Rally. If you wanted to, you can, if you have it, Mage's Guild 10, throw Meteor on there. Another great choice. So that pretty much covers the abilities. Let me go over passives. Again, you're taking all of these passives. Two-handed passives, you're going to take all these. I don't have my dual wield fully leveled up all the way yet, but what makes the dual wields pretty much just really good is I originally thought it was the Ruffian passive, but this is only when using dual wield abilities, sadly. So the Twin Blade and Blunt passive pretty much is just going to give you extra crit chance with daggers. Allows you to have higher crit chance. You can also use swords, but big reason why we use dual wield is for that extra slot, and we are making use of it with this build. Medium armor passives. I cannot believe I've been playing around in Cyrodiil and I haven't had medium armor passives on this whole time, and I have been kicking some serious ass. Alright. All you reds and blues, you're bad and you should feel bad. Alright. Anyways. Medium armor passives. These are important. Don't play Cyrodiil without your medium armor passives. Alright. For this build, I am a vampire, if you haven't already been able to tell by my gross, beady red eyes. But I like vampire for the extra recovery, undeath passive, and Darkstalker. Fighter's Guild passives, take all these, and assault passives, you're going to take all these too. Race, I am a Khajiit. I like the crit chance with this build. You can also play Redguard. I planned on making this build for my Redguard Stamina Nightblade, but I just haven't gotten the time to level my Stamina Nightblade, my other one. But Khajiit, Redguard is also very good. Orc is also going to be very nice for the sprinting. Those are going to be like my top 3, and along with Khajiit is going to be Wood Elf. Pretty much Wood Elf and Khajiit are very easily matched. So that's going to be that for racial choice. Alchemy, medicinal use, just for extra longer potions. So that's going to cover passives and my skills. Again, take your medium armor passives, kids. Alright, so next up I'm going to go over my champion points. Okay guys, so pretty much in my opinion the most important part of the build is going to be your champion points. Just because a lot of newer players don't know how to address champion points, so if you have an idea of roughly what you want to do for champion points, go ahead and skip this part. This is going to be mostly for newer players or people who just want to learn how to place your champion points. So first thing I do with any DPS build with PvP, if I'm doing a lot of single target damage, direct damage is pretty much all my builds, I'm going to throw 50 points into Master at Arms right away for 19% increased damage done. Moving on, I went ahead and threw 51 more points into Precise Strikes for 19% increased crit damage. Very nice to get that 19% extra crit damage, since we are running a very high crit chance build. And then I threw 64 points into Mighty. This is another thing I always do. 64 points into Mighty gives you that sweet, very close 13.01%. So we're getting 13% increased physical poison and disease damage. Every damage type we were doing. Mighty is going to buff that. So we're losing pretty much very minimum points by throwing 64 into there. And then I threw junk points into piercing for 17%, or 17 points into piercing for 1642 increased physical penetration. That's going to give me up to 5k, over 5k physical penetration with this build. And then I threw 37 into blessed for 9% increased healing done, just for some extra survivability. I consistently get 2300 crit heals from my vigor. So that is my main source of staying alive. Next up, moving into the green tree, my focus for this build was getting very high befoul percentage, 47%, 62 points. That's just mainly going to be buffing our end cap. I find that tanky targets that are self-healing and Templars that are spamming Breath of Life, for people who are just getting spammed with heals, are the hardest targets to take down for me. So being able to end cap them and reduce their healing done by a crap ton is going to be very important. So that's why I threw more points into Befoul with this build, and I'm going to be doing that with all my Stamina Nightblades from now on. 28 points into Tumbling for 12% reduced dodge roll cost. Very nice. Again, 2 well-fitted pieces. This is going to synergize very well with that. You're going to be dodge rolling quite a bit with medium armor compared to heavy armor. 75 points into Mooncalf for 14% flat, sorry, not flat, I keep saying flat. 14% stamina recovery, so no wasted points here. No points in tenacity with this build. I tend not to heavy attack a lot with Stamina Nightblade. 37 into Siphoner. This is like your built-in poison into champion points, and then 18 into Warlord for the rest of where my points went. Reduced break free is very nice. 27 quick recovery. I usually, again, try to put points into quick recovery and blessed, just to help me get more healing received and healing done. Very nice. For 7% increased healing received. 28 points into thick skins, reduced damage over time effects by 12%, and then 49 and 40 split between Hardy and Elemental Defender. This is the unchained passive you want to go for. After breaking free, you can cast your next stamina ability for pretty much free. So casting Shuffle after breaking free is very important. I got 38 points in Resistance. I tend to get like to get about 1,000 points from crit resistance from champion points, 28 into Ironclad for 12% reduced damage, direct damage taken. This is the counter to Master at Arms. So this is going to be very nice against other builds that are doing very high burst direct damage, like Crystal Frags or Snipes, Suppress Attacks, and Caps. Anything that's like really high burst, this is going to reduce that damage. And then I had one little leftover point, threw it into medium armor. If you got any leftover points, try to throw it into something that's giving you like a flat value. So like you can see here, that's just 105 physical resistance. It's not a percentage. Piercing, so again, 1642 physical penetration. And I don't think there's any others that are not percentages. Just double checking. Oh, any of the armor things. So like medium armor, heavy armor, light armor. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's going to cover my champion points. Alright, so let's check out our buff stats. I did take screenshots to show it buffed up in combat. However, those screenshots were taken when I didn't have medium armor passives. So let me go ahead and buff up here. I'm going to do out of stealth first. Fully buffed up on the dual wield bar. This is the main damage bar. We got 3600 weapon damage, 24% weapon crit, 2k stam recovery, 33,000 max stam with almost 34,000 max health, and almost 2300 crit resistance. So these are very good numbers. Offensive scroll, so spell damage, so I'm not getting affected by anything there. Oh, and we do have Emperorship right now, I guess. I didn't know that. So these are just all the extra bonuses, so just keep that in mind. So my health will be a little bit less. Alright, so one more time, let's do a buff up in stealth, and I'm also going to cast a shadow ability so you can see my buffed up resistance. Back on the dual wield bar, so almost 17,000 spell and physical resistance with almost 39,000 weapon damage from stealth. So very nice stats on a Stamina Nightblade. And remember, almost 4k weapon damage on top of 5k physical penetration, on top of 62% weapon crit, and all that weapon crit crit damage multipliers we're getting. Stamina Nightblade passives, champion points, it's all adding up to tons of damage. Alright, so I'm going to have some gameplay pretty much right now. That's going to be the end of the builds. It's just the gameplay. This gameplay, there's just a few clips, and they are all without medium armor passive. So please keep that in mind if you're like, oh, you're hitting like a wet noodle, or you're running out of stamina too quickly. Yeah, it's because I didn't have medium armor passives, so I'm a badass. Alright, so that's going to be the end of the build. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you like the build, please make sure to leave a like on the video. If you want to see more builds like this, more creative, awesome builds, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. Again, I am updating all my past builds and creating new ones like this, the Leviathan. Alright, so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns on the build, also, please leave a comment down in the comment section below, and I will see you all next time.